Namo Buddhaya, Teruvan Sharanai, Triratna Sharanai, and with the permission of the Mahasangha, we'll start today's talk. Today's talk is in the continuing series of women in Buddhism. I think it's a very neglected area in Buddhism where people don't talk about all the women, all the great women and theories who are part of Buddhist culture and Buddhist folklore and Buddhist attainments of the Nibbana and everything else. So there are certain books written by women for women in Buddhism, and that's a unique feature of Buddhism. These are the first books. Therigatha is a listing of all the theories, all the arahants who attained arahantship and how they attained the arahantship. Then there is Itivuttaka, repeated by Kujuttara to other women, including people, the queens. And then there are parts in the Samyutta Nikaya, Bhikkhuni Samyutta, which is only 11 suttas, I believe that. And on top of that, we have many commentaries that talk about the origin stories of various verses. Dhammapada is especially very important for that, because each of the verse of the Dhammapada was spoken in respect to, with relation to somebody. So today we are going to talk about two of the great lay women. They did not become arahants in this life here, but they attained stream entry fruits, once returner, non-returner, all that. So the story is about Uttara and Sirima. Has anybody heard about Uttara and Sirima here? Hey, that's what I thought. I didn't think that anybody would know about them. So these two women, their stories are intertwined. So we'll start with Uttara. Uttara was daughter of a Sethi, of a rich merchant in Rajgir, today's Rajgir, Giribraj. And how did she become, her father become very rich? Her father was named Purnasiha. That Purnasiha was a very poor guy, a daily wage earner working for a big rich merchant. So one day that merchant, Sumana, gives him a free day, saying, today you don't have to work. But this guy cannot afford not to work. He's a daily wage earner. If he doesn't work, he doesn't eat. So he goes out and he starts working in somebody else's field. He's tilling the field, he's doing all kinds of things in the field. And then he sees Venerable Sariputta walking through the field. So he gives him, this is early morning, so he gives him a toothbrush, you know, the tree toothbrush, datun, that you can use to brush your teeth, and water, so that Venerable Sariputta can wash his face and get freshened up. Venerable Sariputta does that and he walks away. While he is walking away, this guy, Purna's wife, she is coming to bring him the breakfast. So she sees Venerable Sariputta walking through the field, so she offers the food for her husband to Venerable Sariputta. And after she offers the food, goes back home, makes another fresh food for her husband and comes back. By the time she comes back, guess what? The merits of this double dana to Venerable Sariputta turns the field into like gold coin. They found a hidden treasure somewhere in the field. And so he goes and reports to the king saying that I found treasure in this field I was stealing. So king sends his men to get all the wealth into the treasury. But the moment they touch the treasury, the coins, the gold, in the name of the king, all the gold turns into dirt again. So king realizes that this belongs to him, not me. So he says, in your name, we will take this wealth and give it back to you. And then the treasure stays gold. So that's how he became a very rich merchant, and he was given the title Bahudhanna Sethi. That means very rich merchant. After becoming rich like this, he's also in the Milinda Panha. He is one of the 7 people who attained or who obtained the fruit of giving on the same day. Like Queen Malika and other people, there are 7 such people who attained the merits of giving on the very same day. They did not have to wait for that karma to ripen later or in some other life. They attained the fruit on the same day. So after attaining all this wealth, now this merchant honors Lord Buddha and entertains him with food and all the requisites for a week. Not entertain in terms of dance and all those kind of things, but honors him and gives him the requisites for 7 days. After 7 days, Lord Buddha gives a discourse as a thanksgiving discourse for all the hospitality that was offered. And at that point, Purna, his wife, and his daughter, Uttara, they all attain the fruit of stream entry. So now they are Sotapanna. At this point, they are freed from the bad bonds, and within maximum 7 lives, they will be freed from all things and attain Nibbana at the maximum. Minimum, they could attain sooner than that. Okay, so that's the story of Uttara. And then Uttara becomes old enough to get married. So now this Sumana, previous merchant who was the boss of Purna, says, now you marry your daughter to my son, because you worked for me and we have good relations, and you became rich because of me, because I gave you holiday, you went out, you found all the treasures and everything. So Purna tells him, no, I don't want to give my daughter in your home. You don't follow Buddhism, you don't believe in triple gem. There is nothing my daughter can do there to earn merits, to entertain monks, to give them food, to take care of their requisites and all that. So she will be miserable in your home. Sumana doesn't believe that. So he goes out, he tells all the good people of Rajgir, go and tell him, so that I can get his daughter for my son's wife. And so finally, the entire Rajgir goes after Purna, tells him, why don't you get married your daughter to his son? So finally, under lot of this pressure, the social pressure, he gets his daughter married into Sumana's house. Now this is the beginning of the rainy season. The retreat, the Vassa, is just going to start. So she gets married there, but of course, like her father predicted, she could not do any acts of merit. Monks are not allowed to come in their house. They are not given any food. They are not taken care of. So they are not respected. There is no Dhamma learning, Dhamma hearing, anything like that. So she becomes very miserable. After 2.5 months, she sends her father a message saying, where did you get me married? You should have instead killed me. Why did you get me married into this kind of situation where I cannot do any acts of merit? I cannot do any deeds of merit. I cannot learn or listen to Dhamma. So father becomes very miserable. Father says what to do. So he devises a clever scheme by his thinking. And this, for our present sensibilities, might not be very appropriate, but for him it was appropriate. So what scheme he devises? He devises a scheme. He says he sends 15,000 gold coins to his daughter, to Uttara, and says, there is a courtesan in Rajgriha named Sirima. Give her 15,000 so she can entertain your husband while you are free to go out and take care of monks, listen to Dhamma, do acts of merit, prepare food for them, give them food, all kinds of things, right? So by his standard, that was appropriate. By our sensibilities, it would not be very appropriate at this time. But for those times, we cannot judge those times by our standards, so we should not. All right, so then Uttara goes to Sirima, gives her the money. Sirima agrees, saying, I will come to your home, I'll stay there 15 days while you are free to do what you want to do. So Sirima comes, she becomes mistress of the house in a way. Now Uttara is just cooking, taking care of monks, inviting them, listening to Dhamma, serving them, washing their feet, all those kind of things that you usually do for the Sangha. So Uttara is doing that. Now comes the last day of the rainy season when the rains will get over. So she is preparing a lot of food in the kitchen. She's taking care of things. She's running around, running errands, making different kind of foods. And at that point, her husband passes by, Uttara's husband, who is living with Sirima at that point. He passes by and he looks at her and says, what a stupid woman. He gave 15,000 gold coin to a courtesan. She is young. She is not putting on lipstick. She is not enjoying life. She is just running around and she wants to just feed all these shaven heads, mundaka. Mundaka in Hindi or Sanskrit. She just wants to do all this kind of stupid thing. Why not? Like, you only live once. You should enjoy your life while you are here. So this is his thinking. So he smiled, he smirked basically. Sirima saw this smile. So what does Sirima think? Sirima thinks that I have been the mistress of this house for 15 days and this guy is still looking at his wife and smiling. So they must have shared some moment of intimacy. So she becomes terribly jealous because she forgets at that point that she is a courtesan. She is not the mistress of the house. So she gets very angry. She runs inside the kitchen and she picks up a ladle full of boiling oil. And she comes running to Uttara, trying to throw the boiling oil on Uttara, to burn her, to take away her beauty. But Uttara sees Sirima coming. She knows that her hand has a ladle full of boiling oil. But what she thinks, she suffuses Sirima with loving kindness, saying, thank you, Sirima. Because of you, I could do this 15 days of almsgiving, taking care of Sangha, helping, all this kind of thing. So you have been a great boon to me. You are my great friend. Without you, I could not have done this. She suffuses Sirima with lot of loving kindness, completely with loving kindness, envelops her. So when Sirima throws the boiling oil, it just goes over Uttara like just water passing by, basically. No effect on Uttara. So Sirima thinks maybe something is wrong. Maybe this top oil was not boiling enough. Let me go get another oil. So she runs back inside the kitchen to get more oil. At this point, Uttara's servants, they restrain her. They start beating Sirima. They start kicking her. All these kind of things are going on. So Uttara even then intervenes and stops them from beating Sirima, saying, she has been a benefactor to me. Without her, I could not have attained this. She takes care of her, dresses her wound, massages her, whatever needs to be done to bring her to health. So Sirima now wakes up. She says, what was I doing? I'm not the mistress of this house. Why was I doing this? It's because of jealousy. And look at this woman. Even though I became the mistress, de facto mistress, she did not harbor any enmity to me, any hatred to me. So why was I doing this? So she asked for the forgiveness from Uttara. She says, forgive me. And Uttara says, if my father forgives you, then I will forgive you. So Sirima says, sure, I'll go to Purna and ask his forgiveness. And so then Uttara says, Purna is the father who brought me into this world. But the father who is going to free me from this world, you have to ask his forgiveness. So Sirima says, who is that father? Which is the second father? So she says, Buddha. So Sirima says, I don't know who is Buddha. Where is Buddha? Look at the misfortune of Sirima. She is in the same city. Lord Buddha comes to King Bimbisara again and again, so many times in Rajgir, but she doesn't know who is Buddha. So she says, I don't know who is Buddha. So Uttara says, okay, come tomorrow. Tomorrow is the end of the Vassa. Lord Buddha will come and we can all offer food. You can bring your food from your home. So Sirima goes home. She prepares a lot of food at her own home. All the sweets, laddu and barfi and whatever. She brings all of that the next day. But she is very ashamed. She is very embarrassed that I was fighting with Uttara. So she doesn't come to Lord Buddha. So then, at the end of the meal, Uttara sends Sirima to Lord Buddha and says, now you can ask forgiveness. Sirima goes to Lord Buddha, asks the forgiveness. So Lord Buddha says, forgiveness for what? You haven't done anything to me. Why are you asking me forgiveness? So then Sirima tells the entire story to Lord Buddha. And then Lord Buddha calls Uttara and says, is this what happened? And Uttara says, yes, that is what happened. And that's when Lord Buddha utters Dhammapada, verse 223. Akodena jinam akodena jinam jine kodam asadum sadune jinam. Jine kadaryam danena Sachena avalikadam. I think the last word is wrong. But what the meaning is that you overcome anger by non-anger. You overcome non-good by good. You should overcome a stingy, a niggardly person by giving, by donations, by gifts. And similarly, you can overcome untruthfulness by truth. And so this is the DHP 223, Dhammapada 223 that Lord Buddha utters. And then Lord Buddha gives a discourse at the end of this, and Sirima becomes Sirima becomes a stream enterer. Uttara becomes a once returner at that point. She attains one more stage. Uttara's husband and father-in-law and mother-in-law, who were not believer in Lord Buddha, who were calling Sangha Mundaka, and they were calling them niggardly and all that, not giving them hospitality, nothing. They all attain stream entry at that point. And then, after that, Sirima from that day onwards stops being a courtesan, no more that kind of business. She has enough wealth accumulated. So she starts giving food to Sangha every day. She creates a voucher system where 8 monks can come to her house every day from anywhere, and they will be given enough food and taken care of and be provided hospitality and everything. So 8 monks are coming to her house every day, and her fame spreads all over the Rajgir area, that you go to her house, you get the best of the food, you get enough food for 3-4 people, for each people. She fills up your bowl all the way to the brim, and like that. So her fame is spreading all over Rajgir. Now it so happens that in one monastery, one monk gets all this food, comes back and starts talking about her, saying, oh, her house is so beautiful, she is so beautiful, she is so well decorated in nice clothes and jewelry and all kinds of things, basically. So another monk in that monastery hears this, and he becomes very lovesick or lustful, basically, saying, wow, she is so beautiful, and so on and so forth. And he wants to go there and see Sirima for himself. So next day morning, he goes around and he tells people, give me your ticket so I can go to Sirima's house and I can get the food and I can see her. So he somehow contrives to get one voucher or one coupon. And he goes to Sirima's house. Now that day so happens that Sirima is very sick. So she can't even get out of her bed. So she decides that I will let my servant serve the monks today. So she lets her servant serve the monk. This monk is waiting for like darshan of Sirima, basically, to see her. So finally, at the end of the dana, this monk sees Sirima. Sirima comes out to pay respects when the monks are leaving. And she is sick at this point, without any finery, not in good clothes, no jewelry, no makeup, nothing. And monk looks at her and says, wow, if without all this jewelry, all these things, if she looks so beautiful, then how good she would look when she is all decked up in her finery, in her jewelry, in her nice clothes, in her garlands and perfumes and all kinds of things. So that monk goes away back. He doesn't eat because he is now very lovesick, lustful, all kinds of things. He goes to his monastery, lies down on the bed, and he doesn't want to talk to anybody, he doesn't want to do anything. He is not even eating for 3-4 days. He is just lying there. Now what happens in the meantime? The same day that the monk came to see Sirima, the same night Sirima dies. Because this was her last sickness. So Sirima dies. And then King Bimbisar sends a message to Lord Buddha saying Jivaka's sister, Sirima, has died. Anybody know who was Jivaka? Okay, so some people know. Jivaka was personal physician of Lord Buddha while he was in Rajgraha. And Jivaka and Sirima were the children of another courtesan, I think called Salavati. And Salavati and Abhay Rajkumar, who was son of King Bimbisar, their children. So these were grandchildren in a way of King Bimbisar. We will call it like illegal bastard children, basically. But in those times, they didn't care much about those kind of things. So now Sirima has died. So King Bimbisar sends the message to Lord Buddha. And Lord Buddha knows all this whole history, what's going on. So he tells King Bimbisar, don't cremate Sirima. Keep her in the funeral ground, protect her so that birds and monkeys and jackals and all those don't come and eat her. Just protect her. Keep her there with some guard. Okay, so now they keep Sirima in a charnel ground, in a ground where cremation takes place. And after 3 or 4 days, in the heat of North India, she is like completely gone corpse, smelly. Her body is full of boils. There are worms crawling all around. The commentary describes it like boiling milk with all the boils coming up at the top. So that's the worst position for a human body. All right, so now 4 days later, Lord Buddha tells King Bimbisar that now you announce that entire Rajgriha must come to see Sirima. So King Bimbisar announces, and the entire Rajgriha, including all the monks, all the monasteries, everybody, they all have to come. So when this monk hears that King Bimbisar is calling everybody to see Sirima, he doesn't know Sirima is dead. So he jumps out of his bed and he cleans up and he puts on dress and nicely and everything is done. And he also runs to see Sirima. So now they come to the funeral ground and they're all passing by, because if you don't pass by, king will fine you 4 gold pieces. So they're all passing by Sirima. And so Lord Buddha then asks King Bimbisar, is this Sirima? Bimbisar says, yes, this is Sirima. So Lord Buddha says, please announce with the drum roll that anybody who gives 1,000 coins can have Sirima. So King Bimbisar announces, but who wants a corpse for 1,000, right? So he says, okay, make it half. Let's do 500. Nobody. 250. Nobody. 100. Nobody. 50. Nobody. 10. Nobody. 1. Nobody. 1/8 of 1 coin. Nobody. 1 cent. Nobody. Free. Nobody wants the corpse to take home, right? So that's when this monk realizes that this body is nothing but a collection of bones, a collection of a heap of sores, and it's not worthy of anything, and we still desire it, and that is our foolishness. So that's when Lord Buddha talks, D.H. Dhammapada 147. Passa chitta katam bimbam. I don't remember the Pali, but the entire thing is that the entire body is a collection of bones, hips, muscles, and it's nothing but wounds, all kinds of wounds in the body. And we keep on desiring it, then there is nothing that is permanent, nothing that is dhruva, nothing that is desirable in that. And that's when this monk who was lovesick, he starts meditating on that and he becomes an arahant. Now, in the meantime, Sirima herself, who had died 4 days ago, has attended her own funeral. From heaven world, it comes from the Viman Vatu. She is living in a Viman. She is born in Tawatimsa, and she comes down to pay respect to Lord Buddha. And she has by that time attained once non-returner. So she was stream enterer, attained once returner, then attained now the non-returner. And so this is how the world keeps going around and around, because we are all attached to things which are anicca, dukkha, anatta, and we keep on running after things which have no essence, nothing. It's like a bubble bursts and bubble disappears. It's like a banana trunk. There is no hardwood inside the banana trunk. So this is where these two Dhammapada verses were uttered, and that's why I wanted to talk about this story, and both are related to women. And the thing to look about is the power of a good woman. Uttara, one woman, frees her husband, frees her parent-in-law, and also helps Sirima become free from her terrible deeds of becoming a courtesan and end all that karma. So there is a lot of power in a good woman. Usually you hear arahants, men arahants, they are usually by themselves most of the time. They don't take 3-4 people with them. But women, I guess, like company, so they take 3-4 people with them of their family, of their parents-in-law or father or whoever. So that's what this story is all about. So we can have some time for question answer. Okay. So we can have some time for question and answers if you have any. Feel free to ask questions. There are no stupid questions. There might be incomplete answers, but there would be no stupid questions. So somebody has to start.
I'm just giving the mic, Bante.
Okay. वहाँ पे पास कीजिए. See, you started, so somebody else started. Nobody wants to be the first one.
Thank you, Bante, for the opportunity. Bante, when you were telling about the desire of the monk on Sirima, so looking at the object, maybe the body, what is the origin of desire? Where does it,
Where does it begin, right?
Yes.
It begins with avidya, ignorance, dependent origination, right? All of these things begin with ignorance, and ignorance about what? The ignorance about this anicca, dukkha, and anatta. We know everything is anicca, right? I mean, we ourselves, I see my 10-year-old picture, it's not me. But I still in my mind think like I'm 10-year-old and I can jump around and I can skip 2 steps and then I fall down. So things are anicca. Everything that's anicca that I cannot control gives me pain, right? Gives me suffering because it's not me that I was before. So that's dukkha because I can't control it. I can't become young again. I can't say, let my pain of my knees go away and sit there with the other Mahasangha like they are sitting. I can't sit like that anymore. So there is dukkha, anicca, dukkha, and anatta because I identify with it. That's why I cling to it. I am, therefore I think, there is a famous saying in the Western philosophy. So like that, because of these 3 factors, and this have been going on forever. I mean, Lord Buddha says, don't go try to figure out when the avidya started. That's a fruitless exercise. So that avidya is what leads to all of this. And step by step, we have to start thinking of anicca, dukkha, anatta, in everything we experience around us. And once we start doing this, you will start seeing things become more calmer for you. Your craving, your desires will reduce because you will understand this is ephemeral. This has no meaning. It's like a water bubble, like a banana trunk, like a magic show. This has no meaning ultimately. This will go away. So that's what I would say. Dependent origination will help you a lot if you go through all 12 links and understand how and where they are feeding each other. Also, it's not a linear thing. It's not even just a circular. It's a circular with spokes running around across everywhere. People make mistakes, like most Westerners I know make mistakes. Where should I enter Noble Eightfold Path at this step 2 or 3? It's a wheel. And wheel with spokes, everything is connected. So once you understand that, I think you will start seeing things for yourself. And then you meditate at the same time, and that will give you the true wisdom that can overcome that avidya, that lack of knowledge.
Thank you, Bante. But Bante, we heard the story, we got to know the essence, but the application. I mean,
How to apply?
at times it just misses and it goes back to it. So again, we have to come back from that and be aware of it. So
meditation is the best way to keep this in the mind. If you start meditating regularly, like Bante was saying, and also start doing some Vipassana courses, 10-day, there are courses here also. You can start doing those courses. One time do the course so you can learn the basics of technique of how to do it, and then practice it at home. For householders, it's quite difficult because you have multiple responsibilities of wives, children, in-laws, father, mother, parents, all kinds of things, jobs. So it's difficult, but still you can find some time for yourself. Most people find time seeing movie or going to mall or going on a vacation. Reduce some of that and find time to do your own spiritual development. If you do that, you will see change happening slowly, slowly, slowly. Drop by drop, the bucket will fill.
Bante, this is the first time I have come to this place because on the 26th I had been to the meditation retreat at Narsipura, so that brought me here.
Ah, very nice. Welcome, welcome, and I hope that you keep on coming now.
Definitely, man.
You will learn a lot from the Mahasangha here. All the bulls of the Sangha, we call them the bulls of the Sangha. They have a lot of knowledge that they can share with you. So, welcome.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Anybody from this side? This was a story about you guys.
Can I ask in Hindi? Vandami Bhante ji. Bhante ji, can I ask my question in Hindi?
Yes, of course.
Okay, thank you so much. Bhante ji, my question is, हम अपनी पास्ट में कुछ इंसिडेंट से स्टक हुए रहते हैं, काफ़ी ट्राई करते हैं टू गेट आउट ऑफ इट, बट स्टिल वी गेट स्टक. व्हेन वी कम हियर वी प्रैक्टिस मेडिटेशन फॉर सम टाइम्स, हम उससे बाहर आते हैं, बट स्टिल. और जैसे आपने कहा उत्तरा और सिरिमा की स्टोरी, उसमें भी उत्तरा महापुण्यवान थे, या उनमें उतनी मैत्री थी कि जब कोई सामने से एंग्री होते हुए आ रहा था और उन्होंने अपना मैत्री भावना से वो उनके पावर से वो इजीली उन तक पहुंचा नहीं और रुक गया, और उन्होंने जो सिनेमा थे उनको एक अच्छे मार्ग पर ले गए. लेकिन जब हम ले ड्यूटीज होते हैं मीन्स हम उस लेवल तक नहीं पहुंचते हैं. जब हम गुस्से में भी होते हैं, जैसा हम मेडिटेशन, मैं अपना पर्सनल एक्सपीरियंस बताती हूँ. जब हम घर में मेडिटेशन करते हैं, पूजा करते हैं, कभी कभी नॉर्मल तो गुस्सा चलता नहीं होता है, लेकिन अगर किसी इंसिडेंट से, जैसा किसी पास्ट का कोई इंसिडेंट जो काफ़ी सालों के बाद स्टक ही हुआ है और निकल नहीं पा रहा है, तो पूजा में भी कब वो 2-5 मिनट्स के लिए हम वो गुस्से के मोड में या एंगर के मोड में चले जाते हैं. 5 मिनट्स के बाद रियलाइज होता है कि हम गलत कर रहे हैं, फिर हम अपने ओरिजिनल पाथ पे आते हैं, थोड़ा काम डाउन करते हैं, ब्रीदिंग के ऊपर ध्यान देते हैं. और ये काफ़ी डिफ़िकल्ट हो जाता है कि हम किसी से गुस्सा है, ये समझ में आता है कि हमने मैत्री की तो हम दूसरों को मैत्री दे के ये ओवरकम कर जाएंगे, लेकिन उस लेवल तक इमीडिएटली पहुंचना कठिन हो जाता है. तो मैं चाहती हूँ कि इससे ऊपर उठ जाओ, गुस्सा ना
कैसे
करो.
जाना इससे ऊपर?
जी 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 जी, कैसे जाना?
So the question was how to reduce the time it takes you to start forgiving, start getting out of anger, start getting out of disturbed mind, and all those kind of situations. So again, the answer is really very simple, and it's right in front of you. What you need to do is you need to start practicing. The more you practice, the better you become. What happens is when you are not meditating at all, sometimes you will have so much anger, you will tell people, I will not forgive him for the entire life. Or you say, I will not forgive you for 7 lives. Now, who are you punishing by creating anger like that? You are going to be in the hell of anger for this life, 7 lives. How many lives do you want to do that? But once you start meditating, you start saying that I will forgive you you start first time you forgive in 10 days, 20 days, 30 days. Next time, next person you forgive in 7 days. Third time, maybe in 1 day, 1 hour, or 5 minutes, 1 minute. And later on, maybe 10 seconds you still get upset, 5 seconds you still get upset, but you understand some past karma has come, given me these results, or maybe that guy is a foolish one. Why should I be a foolish? He is foolish. Why should I be a foolish? And this practice is what will make you perfect. So there is no injection. Lord Buddha did not give injections to anybody, did not give bhabhuti to anybody, did not give pills to anybody. He did not even bless people saying, Ja bachcha tera kalyan ho jayega. He didn't do any of that. He taught them the techniques of how you perfect yourself. So practice is what will make you perfect. So you are on the right path. If you are getting out in 5 minutes, I think that is still an accomplishment. You should now try to make it 1 minute, next time 30 seconds, and keep on going like that. And one day will come when nothing will anger you really. Maybe 1 second irritate you, but not anger you. So you are on the right path. Keep going on that path. Last call, anybody? Last call.
Vandami Bhante.
Just
So
one.
very Vandami Bhante. Simple question. You told the story about women. In today's world, women are also working and contributing, so they have less time to do a lot of things that we would ideally want to do. So within that short time, what are the few things that you will tell us so that we can take care of our everything, family, job, children, in a very good way?
So, loving kindness and the 4 Brahma Viharas are probably the best way for you to live in a world full of things that you have to do. You have children, so have metta for them, have compassion for them, which comes natural as a mother. But when you go to work and you are competing for something, you are competing for a promotion or a boss's praise or a bonus, then it's a little hard to practice it. But that's where you have to start practicing it. You have to start taking mudita in somebody else's success. If your colleague gets a promotion, but you didn't, even though both of you were hired on the same day, you are both doing the same job, you start doing mudita for that person, saying that I'm glad that that person has attained success. May he keep on, or may she keep on getting success. So your Brahma Viharas are the best way for you to practice in a life full of worldly things, worldly distractions, worldly irritations, worldly envy, jealousy, all kinds of things. And if you start practicing loving kindness, even though, remember, Uttara is the legitimate wife and Sirima is a hired wife for 15 days, and still there is something going on between them. But it's because of one stupidity, not the other person's stupidity. So you can choose your response. You cannot control anybody else in the world. Remember that. That's a very futile thing to control anybody else in the world, but you can control yourself. How somebody else responds to you, you have no control. Some past karma, some enmity from some past life will come and play its role. But you can respond calmly, with loving kindness, with mudita, with compassion, or with equanimity, depending on who it is. And that is how you can choose how you respond. Others will do what they want to do. You do what you want to do, which is to respond from a kind place, from goodness, deep inside the heart, there is only love. I think we can close the session with that now.